What's your thoughts on jealousy? Do you feel like jealousy and insecurity is a sign that someone loves you, or is it a toxic, unhealthy trait?
A lot of people do, and this isn't, laboratory studies, this is just living a human life. A lot of people do seem to find some degree of jealousy sexy, right? But jealousy is also just because it's like, oh, this person really cares about me. Like they really care what I'm doing.
Do they really care about you, or are they more insecure about themselves?
Right. My feelings on jealousy is that it's a naturally evolved human emotion, right? It's one of the many pieces of evidence that we are let's say, a serially monogamous ape. And I'm not alone in thinking that, by the way. Helen Fisher wrote a very good book on this, and there are plenty of academics who agree with me. I also know that there are plenty of academics who disagree and think, I saw you had sex at dawn in the lobby. So there are plenty of people who disagree with this, but humans have a evolved psychological adaptation to feel jealous when they see threats to their partner's fidelity, right? So it's like if you see a super hot guy talking to your fiance, that might be like,
want to be protective or something.
Yeah, you're like, no, this isn't. I mean, you seem like a totally secure guy, but you might be sitting there thinking, this isn't ideal, right?
Right.
And same for her. You go to an event and a bunch of girls want your autograph or whatever. She might be, and she seems like a very secure person as well, but she might be internally be like, this is not the ideal situation, right?
Right.
And that is a evolved psychological adaptation to, in your case, protect paternity, and in her case, protect investment. So, if a lot of people don't understand the evolutionary psychology of men's jealousy is very clear. It's a clear story. If someone else is sleeping with your girlfriend, you might end up raising a kid that's not yours, right? So that's a pretty clear narrative.
So everyone understands that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen. So jealousy is natural. On the woman's side, right, there's no chance that in most cases, there's no chance that he is going to be pregnant, right? So she's not too worried about that, right? But what she is worried about is that if you're out, sleeping with other women, maybe you end up raising those kids, taking care of her, taking care of those kids, and then she's left alone with a baby and nobody around.
Interesting.
So both sexes have strong reasons to feel jealous, and those have deep roots in our evolutionary biology.
You're in a relationship. Do you feel jealous ever?
Yes. But I will say this, that the research really helps, because it's like, genuinely, because I'm
Here's
like,
the thing. I would give you, you're what, 26, 27?
Yeah.
I'm 40, almost 41.
Yeah.
I would say every relationship I was in from, 16 to 35, I was jealous.
So I'm going to grow out of it.
At different levels. I'm not saying you're going to grow out of it. It was one of the hardest things for me to actually overcome. Now I'm just going to speak from personal experience. I don't know if this backs any data or research or science that you've seen, but what I do know is being jealous was a horrible thing to feel. It never felt good for me. I never felt empowered and excited by it. It caused more stress and anxiety, and it probably had me saying things that I shouldn't have said in my relationships, acting in certain ways I shouldn't have acted in nothing horrible, but nothing benefiting me. There was no benefit ever in the relationship for me being jealous. Now, you might be able to say, well, having a little bit of jealousy and saying, oh, who is that guy? And showing that you care, that they were talking to someone else. Maybe there's some slight benefit for that. But just like you said, someone in a boxing match who's outmatched and know they're going to lose, that builds and you start throwing haymakers later. That is not a fun picture in a relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes hard to get back.
Yeah. And also everyone is, and I'm not a terribly jealous person. I'm just acknowledging that I have that emotion.
Jealousy.
I have that emotion,
of course,
like everybody.
I get it
to an extent. I certainly don't have morbid jealousy or anything like that. But the green-eyed monster sometimes visits.
Of course.
But what I will say is that
let me finish my thought, then you add to that.
Actually,
add to that.
Yeah.
So the jealousy that I felt never added any benefit to the relationship, and it only made me feeling more insecure and anxious. There was a time when I was about 34, 35, 36, in that time where I noticed the jealousy started to leave my body. Like I stopped being jealous if this person was going to be with someone else. There was something that flipped inside of me. And I was in another relationship after that where I had zero jealousy that I can think of. Maybe there was moments, but it didn't come out as jealous acts. And I remember thinking to myself, something switched inside of me. I don't know if it was the time, the season of life, the experiences of different relationships I'd been in, the agony and pain that I felt by having jealousy in 20 years of my life before that. But something flipped, and I just said, if this person doesn't want to be with me, what's the point of me being jealous or insecure? If they're going to move on and leave, it's probably going to be painful in the moment, but it's going to benefit me in the long term. So I just got to a point, in my relationship with Martha now, when I started dating her. She's a very famous celebrity in her country and done 40 movies, and
her DM requests are probably horrifying.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't look at that stuff, but yeah, I mean,
I'm kidding.
I'm sure she's got tons of men who have lots of money, who are, sexy, charming, who have big businesses, who are celebrities that were reaching out to her before me, and I'm sure some still reach out now, right? Yeah. She doesn't engage in that. But if she didn't want to be with me, it would be the greatest gift that she would give me by moving on quicker than staying with me longer and then cheating on me or ending it later.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if you want to be with me, it's because you're committed to the vision of our relationship and what we can build together. Now, that doesn't mean I just get to be a sloppy human being and stop caring about her and stop investing in time and communicating and loving her and speaking life and abundance into her. So I'm constantly developing self as a man and as a human being to build confidence, to be my word to myself, to add value to society, to be desirable to myself, but also to her. And if that's not enough for her, then we shouldn't be together. And so the jealousy thing just doesn't add value to the relationship from my experience.
I completely agree. I think that's all very wise.
I'm not saying you should just cut it off right now. But
I don't. This isn't something that I struggle with. Truly.
That's
good. It's not a huge part of my life. But I was just.
But you acknowledge you have
that I have the emotion.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like many people do. Do you engage in any of the playful jealousy that we discussed? The kind of, hey, who was that guy?
No.
None of that. None of the jokes.
No.
Interesting.
I'm trying to. I mean, maybe there was once or twice where I was like, where do you know that guy from? Where like someone came up to her like, just curious, like, oh, is this someone you dated in the past or someone who was hitting on you before? Just more of like, who is this person?
Yeah.
But not from a sense of like, why are you talking to this guy?
Yeah. Oh, no, never me either. Yeah. No. That's not my personality.
But no, I don't. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't. I think, again, I had too much pain and suffering by experiencing. Now, I probably had a lot more jealousy than you. I wasn't as evolved.
Yeah, it sounds like you really suffered from it. I've been quite lucky. I've also heard, I don't know. I mean, I think that a little bit of playful protectiveness, if it's in that spirit.
Yeah.
I think that, again, some people find it quite sexy.
Sure.
And, quite stimulating. That it's like, oh, wow, this.
I get that.
This woman wants me so badly. This guy wants me so badly. They don't want anyone else to talk to me. But as long as it's.
But where does that go to?
But if it's not, but that's with the very strict provision that it's like it doesn't lead to controlling and strange behavior, such as going through the DM requests, such as going through.
Give me access to everything.
Yeah,
where are you every 2 hours? All that stuff.
Yeah. Why didn't you call me last night, etc.
And I think that's it's a slippery slope.
For sure.
It's like, okay, I'm going to drink a glass of wine once a week, and then I start having twice a week, and then 2 glasses of wine a night, and then it's like, now I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. So it's okay. Make sure you manage that, I think, is the thing. Otherwise, I just think that's a lot of relationships struggle with too much jealousy.